Eastern Uganda region, which for decades has relied on traditional crops like coffee and cotton, is slowly adapting to oilseeds. Many farmers agree that soybean and sunflower are becoming the economic life of the region and Uganda as a whole. It's against this background that the Ministry of Agriculture and More Industry and Fisheries, through the Vegetable Oil Development Project, is facilitating the increasing production and market access for rural farmers involved in the growing of traditional seeds such as soybean, simsim, groundnuts and sunflower.
Under oilseeds component, we have got 4 hubs. The Eastern Uganda hub, which is the largest with 20 districts, and the Lira hub, which covers the Mid-Eastern Lango region, sub-region, Gulu hub, which covers Acholi sub-region, and West Nile hub, which is with an office in Arua.
In Mbale, the project's interventions are being implemented in 20 districts in the 4 regions of Eastern Uganda, namely Busoga, Bugishu, Bukedi, Sebei, and Teso regions. Here, the project is implementing the growing of 2 priority enterprises of sunflower and soybeans because of their market opportunity. The idea is to reduce household poverty by targeting 2,400 farmer groups with a major emphasis on women and youth.
The development objective is to reduce the importation of oil, vegetable oil, and its byproducts, and then also cut on the expenditure of the foreign exchange that government is spending by imported oil for domestic consumption.
Through the pay-for-service arrangement, the project has contracted 4 organizations.
The oilseeds component, it is a PPP, public-private partnership. We work with the public, private sector contracted service providers which are supporting extension in the oilseeds value chain. And under Eastern Hub, we do have 4 service providers who have been contracted. These are Community Resource Development Initiative, CRDI, which is covering 5 districts in Mount Elgon, and the Eastern Private Sector and CAD Uganda, which is a consortium also covering 5 districts of Bugiri, Busia, Palisa, Kumi, Bukedea. And then we do have Busoga region is also covered by 2 service providers, that is Sendakau, Uganda. And in total, Sendakau is covering 3 districts, that is Mayuge, and Namutumba and Kaliro, and then Sasakawa Global 2000, which is covering 3 districts of Iganga, Kamuli, and Jinja.
These service providers are complementing government's extension service delivery on contract basis, mainly focusing on capacity building of farmers groups, increasing production and productivity through training in good agricultural practices, post-harvest handling, bulking and collective marketing, market formation, and gender mainstreaming.
Train farmers on agronomy, I could say good agronomic practices, where we implement or we set up demonstration gardens so that farmers can learn from the garden, but we also do trainings under shades for other areas. For example, farming as a business. We also do training on conservation agriculture. We also do training on post-harvest handling. We also do training on gender mainstreaming and household mentoring.
Done tremendous work for the last 2 years. As I speak right now, we are seeing the total change in the community. We are seeing the growth and development taking place in some of those communities. If you moved out to the community, you will find that some of these communities are now running their own equipment because of the enterprise they are dealing in. Some of them have gone ahead to procure gadgets that process oil, like in Bukedea. We have a community that is now processing oil, and many of our farmers are now supplying these processors. The production has also increased because at the initial level, these farmers were not taking oilseed as a cash crop. They used to do it as mainly food crop for soya. But after realizing that there is a market for some of these products, particularly with the upcoming industries in Lira, many of them have been, linked to some of those market of takers in Lira and oil mills.
This is Tabu Integrated Cooperative Society Limited, located in Buyega Town, Bulambuli District. This group is mainly dealing in two strategic crops of maize and soybean. Gibutai Florence, the group's head, says the group had a humble beginning with 30 members in 2013. When they started working with the project in 2016, the group's membership had rapidly increased to 2,821, of whom 1,099 are females.
Misomojo babanga okusomesa ku ngeri yesi kunyala kwa byala mu muzirairi ngeri kunyala kwa gula bumizo bulayi ngeri kunyala kwa ga mu soyayo ngeri yesi kunyala kwa mufutamo niga malesige nige kukozesa okufuwa soyayo kimu.
Through the Community Resource Development Initiative, this group has been linked to Opportunity Bank Mbale branch, a financial institution for financial support, and Agrinet, a Tororo-based company involved in bulk buying and processing of soybean.
When it comes to market, VODP brought in another approach which we call 4P. 4P comes from private, producer, public partnership, where the government facilitates an understanding between an off-taker. In this case, we have Agrinet Uganda Limited, who are buying soya bean, who use soya bean to produce animal feed. Then we brought in Tabu Integrated Cooperative Society, which is of the farmers. Those are the producers. So they signed a memorandum of understanding in October 2016 with the aim of providing a ready market for the farmers.
Lualanda says market linkage has helped to reduce price variation per farmer from 500 to 1,000 to 800 to 1,100. This is because farmers can now sell and negotiate together to avoid being cheated. Mutebi Aramathan is the agriculture extension worker, Send a Cow Uganda, in charge of Bukanga sub-county in Namutumba district. Aramathan says since October 2016, over 18 farmer groups have registered with Send a Cow Uganda. Unlike other 17 groups, Akanabala Farmers Cooperative Group has fully embraced the project and adopted sunflower growing.
So when we train the farmers, actually farmers adopted, but before we introduced the program, we had a challenge because of a new project coming on board, and farmers were asking, had a lot of questions, how they can go about this project, and their biggest worry actually was on marketing. So we addressed on marketing issues. So out of the 8 farmer learning platforms, farmers who participated in learning on those platforms, they adopted and picked interest, and they started going into the program as a business.
This group has 143 members, 71 of whom are female. They have taken on sunflower growing as a business. They have planted over 150 acres in their locality. 43-year Kawanguzi Robert says, before the project's intervention, sunflower growing was a nightmare in the area. But now, time has proved sunflower can be of more economic importance compared to maize and groundnuts.
Sunflower kirime kyangu kya kulima. Myezi 3 oba otuuka kukungula era wabanga ofuna ssente. Twafuna akasente okuva mu comparative yaife. Bajja batufunira ensigo. Batufunira ensigo n'atandika okulima sunflower. Bwenima sunflower, ekirungi kye namwagaanamu nti tatwala bulezi bungi. Wabanga afunyeeko ekirwaire ofuuka ajja n'obulezi butono, wabanga osobola okuwidaabiriza ekirwaire ekyo watuuka okuboneka nti ekintu kyo kitereire.
The advantages sunflower has over other crops and the other economic activities in the area have changed many farmers' mindsets. Muzei Mukose Gasitafasi has been a carpenter for decades in the area. Mukose confesses how he has found solace in sunflower growing.
Sunflower mwagala kubanga tatawanya bino byonna byemulaba sirina bijimusa binateekako kubanga tatawanya nga binyeebwa ebinyeebwa bitawanya ofuuweera emyundi egiwera 3 oba 4 ate obulezi tebugulika.
Mayuge district, like most parts of Busoga region, has been and still is a major sugarcane growing area. Apart from being labor intensive, sugarcane is associated with a number of problems like high rates of school dropouts. Introduction of soybean growing by VODP2 in the district in 2016 has been seen as a solution to this problem. The evidence is the rate of adoption in the district. 30 members of Chigandalo Women Farmers Association have not only fully embraced soybean growing, but they have also been encouraged to add value to their produce. This filming crew caught up with Asio Winnie, a Senda Cow Uganda extension worker in charge of Chigandalo sub-county, carrying out value addition training to the association members.
Trained them in making soya flour, daddies, the mummies, that is the bagia, the soya kawa. Then out of the soya flour, we also make porridge made out of soya. You can make soya flour plain, then you can also mix it with the millet flour for porridge, or you can also mix that soya flour with the maize flour. You mix it, you make for porridge. Then out of that, you can also make the sauce out of the flour.
Babalanda Juliet, the association's chairperson, recalls the humble beginning.
Batusomesa ngeti gye tusobola okukozesa soya twakola mu budadizi. Batusomesa engeri gye tusobola okukozesa soya twakola mu bagia. Batusomesa engeri gye tusobola okukozesa soya twakola mu soya kawa. Batusomesa engeri gye tusobola okutoola mu soya amata. Engeri gye tusobola okukozesa soya ng'eiva. Engeri gye tusobola okukozesa soya twafuna mu buugi. Twabanga tulisa abaana kubanga ebimu ku bigendererwa byaffe mu kibiina kyaife kyali kyakulwanisa endiisa embi ey'abaana ab'emyaka gya wansi emyaka 5.
Across in Jinja district, the project through Sasakawa Global 2000 is working with 21 farmer groups targeting 394 households. The project inception here was not smooth either, since for decades sugarcane growing has been the major enterprise in the district. Farmers' mindsets had to be changed, as Bayo Stephen Kadama, the extension agent VODP2, recalls.
It was not all that easy to bring farmers on board because my farmers were growing cane. Right now, as you can see the field, there is some comparison between a field for soybean and then sugarcane. My farmers were hesitant at first to see that can we leave sugarcane, which has ready market, and we switch to soybean, which is uncertain. The mere fact that sugarcane, being a perennial crop, it takes 2 months. It takes 2 years, and soybean, it takes 4 months at most to harvest. And looking at the prices, sugarcane, a kilogram is costing 100 shillings. And soybean is costing 2,000 shillings on market right now as we speak. My farmers opted to say, let's go in for soybean growing.
One of the core objectives of the project is to promote gender mainstreaming in its activities. The idea is to encourage families to work together to reduce conflicts, domestic violence, and promote joint household planning. This couple, Aida Nambi and Kazige Laston from Mpugwe Women's Development Association in Buwenge sub-county, is a typical example of how the project has impacted on other 30 members of the association.
Abantu abatakolera balala abo balina obuzibu bw'amaanyi. Aye nze ndisaba busabe nti abantu baide baboneleko ife kubanga nga ife tuli kitole. Ife olw'okuba nti tuli kitole emirimu gyaffe gye tutambulira myangu. Tinifu abantu abagayigaino ayi tukusobola osomesa abaana baife. Kale nabo bona abekutula mu abatakolera balala. Tusaba batandika okugemera agalala batambulire gatya walala. Kubanga abali agalala era nabasobola okola ki okola ebintu ebivaayo.
Using the community-based facilitators like Musubika Justin, the project has been able to impact a lot on the communities.
Group edo nisomesa ku saving okutegeera okutereka n'okwewola n'adisomesa ku gender n'ekintu okubanga amaka gagemagana nga bakolagana buli kimu ng'omwami ategeera eky'omukyala n'omukyala ategeera eky'omwami iji ng'okulima omwami tasobola kujagama luuyi mbago n'omukyala n'ajja luuyi balina okolera walala ne family yaibwe okubanga yona kubanga kikaikiriza ku ngeri y'akasente.
This is Kamira Village, Namugera Parish, Butagaya Sub-County in Jinja District, the home of the Butagaya Soy Agribusiness Farmers Group. With 48 members, the group produces soybean for two major purposes. That is to say, for grain and seed multiplication.
When they grow grain goes directly to agroways, and seed goes to Makerere. So we work with them in these two strategies because these two products of soya have different prices. Seed, for now, seed is going for 2,000 and grain is going for 1,500. So depending on the product that they have produced will determine at what price they are selling, where they are going to sell their produce. So basically, when it comes to seed, this seed is sold to Makerere and also sold to other fellow farmers for seed multiplication, because already now we're experiencing a lot of adopters who are coming in for soya enterprise.
Samuel Chigere, the chairperson of the group, says working, bulking and selling together has helped the group to achieve their objectives.
Myaka jinesa tutubaire nga tulima ensigo nga tutonda ensigo nga tujiguza kabanyoro aba research so bajitwala ate bajongerayo okujiguza ki abalimi abandi kati mpano okuva mu October 2016 twafunayo abasakawa batwegaitaku bajja batwongeramu emisomo gye twali tuzira bulungi yabanga kaiji twongeramu okwongera ku mutindo gwaife gwe tukola mu byasoya ng'okulima enima ey'omulembe n'endabirira enungi eyasoya batwongeramu engeri y'okumutereka batwongeraku amagezi ku ngeri y'okumutundamu ate batwongeramu amagezi n'engeri gye tuyinza okufunamu ebintu ebindi okuva mu soya. Sasakawa bwe yamala okutuwa amagezi ago ate yadda yatugaita ku agro ways esobola okugula kyetweta grains oba empeke dasoya edinza okuliibwa oba okukolebwamu ebintu ebindi. Twabanga omutindo gwaife n'akatale kaife kwongera okugaziwa
After massive production of soybean in the district, the project then focuses on linking farmers to markets.
We've engaged these groups, we've engaged the leaders, the community leaders, and been able to link them to markets. And specifically, we've worked with Nile Agro, and we've also worked with AgroWays.